Hi, welcome back to the channel, Train Station 2. Wow, we finished it. We finished first in the 6th competition and we claimed that legendary New Heaven EP-5, finally! So happy with this legendary train, electric, 40 power as of now, extendable all the way, upgrade to 80. Alright, so as I mentioned in my previous video, I purposely wanted to start it late in this 6th competition. I started about 12 to 13 hours late, and to my surprise, it was so smooth sailing, enjoyable competition ever. I mean, this is a 6th competition out of the 7th. I suffer for the I think first to the 5th was a terrible first and second because I always started on time. I was fighting with the most how do I put it, fanatics, people who love train stations so much that they doesn't really sleep, and if they do not sleep, I suffered in terms of ranking. So the 3rd competition was slightly better because I purposely entered late. I think was about 3 hours late. And then in the 4th competition, I assumed everybody would have more or less complete 100%. So I decided entered 1.5 hours late, and was terrible mistake. Alright, so the 5th one, I didn't really do it that well as well. So but was quite a good achievement so far. I think then was 970 coins, but in this one, as I mentioned, I only required 30 coins to claim this legendary train, so I gotta give it a bet, which is come in really late and see how it work out. I came in after the good night's sleep, refused to turn on my app to play Train Station 2. That puts me into a very good sleep, and then when I started it the next morning, I purposely take it at one sweet time, and to my surprise, propel first in the ranking, and it was so smooth sailing throughout the 2 days. No competition, although it's a competition, but there's no real competition because as you go do your stuff leisurely, trying to complete the dispatch of the customers. As I mentioned, in the previous video, I made good preparation for this competition, so I got tons of materials on hand. But again, of course, the downside is warehouse spacing, and I can't really move things because everything seems to be a bit stuck. But I've been binding, so-called throwing away those requests items for delivery, so that it hits ones that has what I have in mind, or so-called in the output tray. So I predicted that they will need chairs, they will need certain things, so I was quite lucky that comes on. And after I throw away a few requests, they asked for chairs, and I got tons of chairs, so that was great. There is just luck, I must say. It's not really prediction. I can't really predict, so it was really lucky. And then of course we got standby of some dynamite as well, and we got good number of copper. So that was quite smooth sailing, I must say, overall. To my surprise, we starting late itself, playing with a group of really peaceful competitors, opponents. Okay, so really glad that I started late. This event is coming to end soon, just a couple of days. After this end of this competition is left with 4 days. You take a break of a day, then the competition will start for the remaining 3 days. My advice, do not go in early. If you could, enter it like 12 hours late. That's what I did, and I'm going to do it again anyways. Anyways, this is my last competition, and do not need really those event coins to change your trains, so I'm going to enter really late, like good night's sleep, and then 12 hours late, and then my guess, it'll be somewhat the same scenario like what I had this one. You can see there, so peaceful all along. You are leading, and there's no real rush to fight really hard because the competitors are all quite chill and relaxed. Everybody seems to be very chill. It was so good, and I don't think any one of them actually spent gems to just fight for positioning at all. None of that sort. But I gotta mention this to you. If you want to have your factory built up all the way to prepare for the competition, you should, but you gotta beware that you should have some space at least to maneuver a bit, because I experienced a lot of difficulty trying to shift things out because of factory input and output tray were all filled with stuff, and a warehouse was all the way to the brim. So this is something I experienced, but of course not much of regrets, knowing the fact that we could bin away requests, but we could normally bin away two. One easily remove and another one just watch a video, but the third one will take a long time. So if you're not lucky enough that within the three choice, so-called three chances, you didn't get one that you have, you may be stuck with things, and you'll be a bit difficult to move. So if you really want to fill up your factory, I would say you fill up your factory with steel. That's for sure you need them. Not so much of copper, I would say. Probably steel will be a better choice. What I did was I'm doing up copper right now is because it's a requirement right now. But filling up the factory with steel shouldn't be an issue because first it's easy to fill it up because you can easily collect your iron and coal. And the fact that a lot of things need steel, I mean, be it the saw blade, be it the nails, you can basically use up your steel quite fast. So and if it's really required, you want to throw away steel, it's also fine because there's a steel factory can grab it within a couple of minutes, so it's not so painful. So that's one. The other factory, if you wish, you may want to store up nails and saw blades, because that are things that are really useful, be it those events items you're going to build, as well as table and chairs, you will need them as well. So as for the factory on milk and flour, you're just going to choose one. Do not mix them up, because if you mix half flour and half milk, you may not get the quantity, because we got to understand the game now is asking for crazy quantities. So if you have just half milk and half flour, you may just fulfill at max maybe half of the requirement, and you'll be stuck with half of the other one that is not required. So you have just choose one. For me, I choose flour. You may choose milk if you prefer. Alright, so that's one. And then for this, the glue, you just focus on glue, alright, because gasoline you can get it straight away from the gasoline factory, so there's no need to. It's just because at that time I need to remove some of the fuels that I collected to make into gasoline, so I can move away some of the things from the warehouse. So gasoline, again, you could make it just direct from the gasoline factory and then deliver. So in that factory, I'll appreciate if you do glue. Alright, so I repeat, steel, nails, and milk, and glue. Alright, so those are the four factories you should prepare yourself with. Then it boils down to the furniture factory. Which one should you choose? Either tables or chairs. Again, it's same like milk and flour. Just choose one and have it only one. Right? Do not mix them up again. So that is the my recommendation for that 5 factories. As for the event factory, you got to be I would recommend you do up the rails, those that because the rails is a subcomponent of another item. So I'd rather you do up the rails, okay, and stand by. So that will be a good opportunity for you to do so. And yes, as you can see there, I have 3 things. It's because I need them. But otherwise, you just keep one, which is the rails, because rails are always being asked for. So I think that will be a good choice to keep. And I think I missed out one factory, which is the one that you can make plywood. So again, I'll recommend you do plywood. Alright, so these are the 7 factory things that you should do, and just focus on one thing. Alright, so this is always the case. When they ask for crazy quantities and you have them, it'll be easy for you. Alright, do not make things and do it in a factory. For those, you could collect directly from the factories at the regions. For example, timber, do not make it and store it in your factory, because you can collect it directly from the timber factory. So steel, yes, you could collect, but if you don't want to put steel, then, because why I recommended steel is because you will need steel for a lot of things and that's why it's good to have a lot of them on hand. If you really doesn't want it, it doesn't matter, then I would recommend you do copper, because copper you can't get it anywhere, you're gonna wait for it. So if you want, you keep copper and you grab steel from the steel factory, but you're gonna spend a couple of minutes away from the game. Alright, so that is your choice, but for me, I'll keep steel because it's really fast and handy to use it. But at times when I require to do copper, I'll keep all the copper. Alright, so do not try to mix them up. Once you mix them up, you'll have half the quantity and half of it that you can't do, and you'll be stuck with the factory output tray. Alright, so another tips for you is, you can see along the video a lot of alarms. Do set alarms as part of the game so they can do it on time. And although it's a bit annoying sometimes, especially you're busy with and the alarm to go off, but nonetheless it's good to keep your time watch, and do not spend too much time each time, just a couple of minutes, and then you can off you go with the game. Alright, so finally we got first, and we got the 350 coins, and of course very shortly I'll share with the joy of this legendary train with 1000 event coins. And here we go, long awaited. Let's do it. Alright, finally the new heaven, legendary train, 80 capacity electric. Thank you for watching. Do like and subscribe. Goodbye.